Hey, Mark here, and I have a couple really fun giveaways for you. I have digital copies of Air Force One Down up for grabs, and I have digital copies of Mean Girls that are available as well. So I have 5 of each. And yeah, if you would like a digital copy of one of these movies, just shoot me a message. Be like, hey, Mark, I would like a digital copy of Air Force One Down or Mean Girls. And just let me know, and I will enter you for a chance to win. Like, it's worth it. They're fun. I mean, the movie's called Air Force One Down. Sounds pretty great. Also, Mean Girls musical, it's a blast. So if you want to hear about more about the promotion, cut to the end of the episode. I'll tell you more about it and also just read the promos for each. All right, thank you guys. Enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who hates it when he has to drive from North Minneapolis to South Minneapolis, Nathan Lahay.
I was expecting something really mean to introduce me at this one because this is a movie where like you can come out with anything. I was just like, ooh, what's he gonna do? Yeah, that was a good one. I love it. Before we get started, I have a question to ask. It's very important. How did Ellie not get hit by a car in this movie? There are like 9 different scenes where she's just like in the middle of the road. It's like, "Argh."
Well, here's the thing. The only way I can say this and not just say plot armor is that, like, because I don't want to do that. So, but Christy Wilson Cairns and Edgar Wright repeatedly say in the commentary that Ellie is gifted. She has a gift, and my friend Zach Beckler, wonderful horror director, he says that's not so much psychic as it is like she's like a like empathic, like she just feels. So I thought that was really interesting. So maybe she feels their presence. And so, because she is gifted, she has powers. She sees
she is
force ghosts.
gifted, but I would rebuttal and say that if she can feel the presence of the car, she wouldn't be standing in the middle of that street. Now, I will say if it's something like gifted, like if we're talking about mutants, like Domino from X Force and X-Men, if she has just like probability and like a luck, like some sort of luck where I could shoot a bullet, it's going to hit the thing, and I don't even have to look. Maybe that's her gift. Maybe she's got a little luck on her side. I don't know. But this last time that I watched it, I was just like, she probably should have been drilled once or twice.
She's in traffic a lot.
She is.
And it would be, yeah. I mean, listen, she's scrappy. We know she's scrappy.
She's scrappy. She tells her grandma that.
She's gifted and with powers.
Absolutely.
So I just think also too, I mean, if you live in London, you're used to, like, I've driven through London before, and it's a nightmare. And I mean, and I live in Atlanta too. It's still bad. But they're probably so used to people running through traffic that people's heads are on a swivel. If you've ever been in New York, everyone's just screaming all the time. They're ready for people to pop in. So I think,
the times I've been in New York for Comic-Con, like you have to watch out for the cars and the bike messengers and delivery. Like they don't care. I lived in Austin. Like, no one gives a crap. So I get it. But it was just something that I wanted to ask your thoughts of right away. Also, for people that haven't seen this movie yet,
spoilers.
Just shut the podcast off. Don't listen to this. Just like right now, be like, ooh, this is going to be a bad. Just like go into, if you've never heard anything about the movie, you're like, oh, I like Anya Taylor-Joy or that Edgar Wright guy. Shaun of the Dead was fun. Pause this right now. Go watch the movie, because one thing that I loved about it, and my wife absolutely adores this movie too, is like, and we were talking about last time we watched it, is it's an interesting ride, because you go into it and you're like, oh, this is a nice little, like, maybe a sweet lead, and it goes into, oh, she's going into the past, and this is like a nice sweet story, and it just starts taking turns. You're like, oh, it's this type of movie. Oh wait, oh, something else was introduced. Oh man, I didn't think this was going. And it was just a hell of a ride. I remember the first time I watched it, I was blown away because I didn't see half the stuff coming. It was just a really, really good story, and the way that they jumped from point to point was awesome.
And listen to this movie. It's about the dangers of nostalgia, right? It's about people who, in the commentary, Christy Wilson Cairns was saying it was about people who have a failure to deal with the present, and so they look back to the past. And when you look at Eloise's room, not Eloise, Eloise.
Yeah, you got it.
When you look at Eloise's room, or Ellie, or E.T., or L Train, if you were a designer, Nathan, because remember when she says I'm this, I'm that, like I'm E.T., I'm Eloise Turner, I'm Ellie Turner. Who?
Oh, absolutely.
What would your designer name be? Would you be NL? Would you be Nate Lay? Would you be
I would harken back to high school when one of my best friends called me Nadex. So I think I'd be Nadex.
Oh, I love it. You know what I would be growing up? That's that game Crossfire had a lot
Swedish
of com-
delight.
yeah, it was a Chuck Norris. That's what I would definitely be like, Dolph, me and Dolph hanging out. But so
Exactly. Yeah.
when that game Crossfire was out, in the game Crossfire, it was
Oh
like
yeah.
Hoffmeier or Crossfire. So in like I
You'll
never
get
had
caught up in the.
so I never had a nickname really in high school ever because just Hoffmeyer, he was called Hoff. But some
Mhm.
people would be like Hoffmeyer. So if I had a designer name, you couldn't say Hoffmeyer. You'd have to go Hoffmeyer.
I would go back to that way too because I again never really had nicknames. Again, my friend did Nadex as a joke. But when I graduated college, I did a Shakespeare festival, and everyone for whatever reason there was one gentleman named Michael that decided to call me by my last name, but he put a little emphasis on it, so it was Lahay. So that would probably be mine. You would have the same crossfire effect. It's not just saying the name; it's giving the emphasis
Oh, I
and
like
putting
that.
the little tune on it. Yeah.
Hey, Hoffmeyer.
Hoffmeyer.
Oh man, we team up. We could end the world. It's like
Absolutely.
the people
Absolutely.
say Dolce and Gabbana. We'd be La Hey and
Hoffmeyer
Hoffmeyer.
and the hay.
Yeah,
We'll just use the crossfire theme throughout all of it. We'll
you
just make
have
it.
to
We'll
do
make
that
it work.
after you say Hoffmeyer. Hoffmeyer. Don't get caught up in the-" Like you have to sing it
Mhm.
out.
Oh, I remember that commercial, man. It was on like every 12 seconds
I showed it to my
when we were
students and they're
younger.
like, "What happened to that kid? Did he die?"
Yes, he used all of his money from the Crossfire commercial on Coke and Horse.
No. The kid in the commercial, he gets spun away, and you're sitting there going,
Oh
"Wait,
yeah.
is this like a death match? Did I
Look,
just watch a
he
child death match?"
look, he doesn't die. It's like in Sonic the Hedgehog. He just gets sent to the Mushroom Planet.
Oh,
That's all that happens. Just different dimension.
I I wouldn't mind
Or
it on the
or like
Mushroom Planet.
Yu-Gi-Oh, you're banished to the Shadow Realm.
You know what's nice about the Mushroom Planet is
Please tell me.
it would give you something to do. Let's say you're bored and then you get sent to a mushroom planet. All you have to do is survive, and that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
So
you try to brew mushroom espresso.
yeah, mushroom. You would mushroom. There's mushroom protein now. There's mushroom coffee, and
Yeah.
you just try to survive the monsters. You deal with mushrooms. It's
You
just.
would be in a psychedelic haze to the end of your days.
Ooh, is that a song from Lahay?
It is now. But enough about Sonic and Mushroom Planets. Let's get back to Soho, the thing that
Hey,
everyone
wait. I
came
wasn't
back
done with
to.
that yet.
Okay, I
All right.
apologize. I was
No.
trying to.
I'm
The
done.
people just came back from watching the movie. They're like, "Why are we on Mushroom Planets? Let's get to the meat."
Wait, someone jumped
Um,
into this scene and talked about the.
well, we told them to go watch the movie first, and maybe
Oh,
they
now they're
forgot where
coming.
they were and they skipped ahead by like 3 minutes, and all of a
Got
sudden,
it.
Mushroom Planet. Like, is this the same podcast?
Skip the ads.
Let's
That's
skip
fair.
it.
No,
Skip it.
so the thing that makes me happy about this movie is, I'm a longtime fan of Edgar Wright. I love Shaun of the Dead. I probably watch Hot
Hmm.
Fuzz more than any other movie
Oh,
combined.
God,
I,
so good.
World's End, I've covered it. Baby Driver, I'm covering it soon. Scott Pilgrim, like he's a director that visually, he's such an interesting director visually, and I love
Hmm.
watching the life in his movies. I learned that Scott Pilgrim shot for over 100 days, which is insane. But everyone on the crew was on board because of his vision. He knew what he wanted, and that's what Edgar Wright brings to the table.
Hmm.
He has a very distinctive visual style, and there's always sadness in his movies. Like Shaun of the Dead, there's some sadness. World's End, there's some sadness.
Hmm.
So for me, this was a nice turn for him because I know he got a lot of crap for Baby Driver for having really weak female characters, and I watched that movie again, and I still like Isa Gonzalez's character, but the love interest, there's not much to Lily James in that movie, so I can see some frustration there. And then
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh, hey, did you bring on Christy Wilson Cairns for that touch?" She's like, "No, I've been thinking about this movie for 10 years, and I met her before this came out." And
Yeah,
he
I
started,
think I saw that in 2007 was where
yeah,
the idea came up and he started to talk with people about it. And yeah, it's something that again, his vision. If you look at Scott Pilgrim, if you look at Shaun of the Dead, if you look at any of the stuff, the stuff that he picks from all of these movies or things, that the influences are 1000% there, and he does things in a way that makes every one of his movies incredibly rewatchable. One thing that I saw when going through this is there was Stephen King had seen like a really early viewing of it, and he had said something along the lines of, I don't like to rewatch things because there's so much stuff out there that, why would you rewatch something you've already experienced? But he was like, this thing is special, and I would encourage people to give it another go, which I thought was pretty high praise. But it is, if you look at Scott Pilgrim or any of his movies that you enjoy. I mean, for me in particular, I don't know how many times I've watched Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz or Scott Pilgrim. They're just so enjoyable every single time. And for this one, though I think it is very enjoyable, you will catch things on rewatches that you either didn't notice before or didn't appreciate as much. One of the things, talking visually, that I was just like, man, that was so cool, was it was pretty early on in the movie. It was during one of the first kind of dream sequences that Ellie had, is when she was sitting there and she put on the record player and everything, and she went to roll over and she just threw the sheet, and it was automatically that big, just like, pull back, and it was the full shit. It was almost you're gonna think I'm stupid. It reminded me of New Nightmare.
Yeah.
Where just the sheets just kept going. But I was like, that's just cool, man. That's just like such a cool transition to go from one thing to the other and have it happen so fast that you get drawn into it right away. And that's one thing that I think that was one of my favorite shots of the movie, other than the dance scene, when it kept having Ellie and Sandy just like bam, 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 bam coming in and out. It was just so cool, visually stunning.
I mean, listen, the mirror work is great. The mirrored staircase is great.
Mm-hmm.
By this point, I think we're almost too spoiled by Edgar Wright's visual shenanigans to, during the commentary, the lights go when the lights flash, they go with the music. I mean, this is a wildly difficult, technically speaking, this was a very hard film to make, because he's so demanding not demanding, but he knows what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And also too, like the music he picks for this. I mean, I love Wishing and Hoping, but I mean, Got My Mind Set on You, that's perfect. Like, I love Puppet on a String. Sandy Shaw, when she wrote that, she hated it, but she had to submit 4 songs for Eurovision, and this is the one got picked, and she didn't want it to get picked, and then it became a huge hit because I'm a puppet on a string. I mean, there's a song called "There's a Ghost in My House." There's always something there to remind me. It's so on the nose. I think his music choices are very on the nose, but I love them. Like, they hit so good, and they feel like such a breath of fresh air. And also too, like, kudos to Edgar Wright for bringing in Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy. I mean, I would say of people around their age, they have probably some of the most heat in Hollywood. So he got these 2 awesome actors. He brought in Diana Rigg, Terrence Stamp, like old school, legends. And he made a movie that, I would say, okay, what's interesting, Nathan? What percent of audiences do you think, like, his audience, his movies are very male oriented? Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. So he probably has a majority male following. And so
I would say so, probably. Not to say that he doesn't have female followers.
Oh, no,
just my wife in particular, like, loves all of his movies. But yeah, I would say more so probably male oriented.
And, like, listen, I'm not generalizing. I just think if you made movies that all feature entirely male characters, you're probably gonna skew a little. I guess I'm thinking probability, right? But but this one though, and they were talking about this on the commentary, where the true horror is the toxic men who abuse their power in show business.
Yeah, 100%.
And the writer too, like Wilson Carnes, was saying all these, like the cab driver, the lines that were said have all been said to her. And she said her biggest fear is just toxic dudes. And this is a movie that really goes at that idea, but it does so in a way of, you think it's going to be happy and hopeful, and then you think she's going to save her, but there's no saving here. And it's just, but listen, like, this is random, but when I first started in the film industry, it was 2011, early 2011. I got my first ever extra job it was pretty cool. I actually got cast as like a featured extra as a swim coach. I'm not going to say the show, but so basically what the scene was a bunch of 18 to 21-year-olds, but everyone was in swimsuits, and the main cast was there, and the main cast was having PAs go talk to like pretty girls and see if they wanted to go back to their like trailers after the shoot was over. And this is 2010, and I'm like watching these kids treat these women like they're just, hey, go pick that one, she's cute. Like, they don't even know who they are, they don't know what they're about. And like, I was sitting there going, oh man, like, I was not naive to the world. Like there's scumbags everywhere,
Yeah.
but like the show business and the
When it's put
music,
front and center
yeah,
right in front of you, yeah,
and
when it
like
comes up,
it's not a good industry for a lot of women, and it really
mm-hmm.
does play on them as sort of things. And you look at the 60s and the swinging 60s, but I like when people don't put rose tinted glasses on nostalgia, right? Because the film industry, the music industry, they're not pretty places. So I don't like movies that represent them as these awesome, pretty, clean entities. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? Like, and that's what this movie
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, and it definitely sets it up that way with the girl with the dream and going through, and the girl that also has the dream for the fashion industry. Also, all of a sudden, flashbacks to this girl that's trying to make it in showbiz, and you're expecting something kind of interesting and happy, and maybe they're gonna mirror or get inspiration from each other, like with when Ellie got the dress
Dress
design
ideas,
from
yeah.
exactly. But yeah, you find very quickly that that's not the case, and kudos to Matt Smith. This was I think this was the first role that he took on after his Doctor Who time, where he was just this happy-go-lucky, smiley, almost childlike, loving character that everyone adored, and all of a sudden he's the big asshole that is not caring at all, is manipulative, plays on Sandy's dreams, and essentially traps her into this life of prostitution, which is also interesting when you're watching the movie and you understand anything, but you think of later, because some people are like, well, why didn't she just leave if it was so, like, why didn't
Mm.
she go away? But and just really quick, my wife again last night was like, I think it's interesting that two men are going to be talking about this movie, but with everything going on, but it's like, some people may like, well, why didn't she just leave? But if you think of it, like, again, back in the 60s, where women had even less of a stance than they do now, and they were expected to do certain things, if she was even tricked into doing this thing or pressured into doing it once, how do you get away from that? Number one, knowing that the pimp, that Jack, Matt Smith's character, knew where you lived and could, and if something happened to you, that that you'd probably get away with it. Number two, if you got away from it and somehow it got out that you went through this, like how that would tarnish you and everything else. It's almost this thing that you've done it, you can't escape it, there's that shame that goes with it, so the only thing you can do is kind of press on and hope for something. And even when she was given an out by Lindsay, by the cop that showed up, she just didn't believe that it was something that she could allow herself, which was also a really cool scene with Ellie trying to break through the glass and like to have her look at herself because she was worth more. That was a really powerful scene in there too.
And listen, anybody who says why didn't she leave, thank God, have never been through. Especially if a man says that, they've never been through an abusive situation. You got to understand the mindset that's created. And then, like you said,
Yeah.
if you're alone in London, you're with this violent person, it drags you in, man. It's not a immediate thing. It's a gradual thing that he did to her. Like he ensnared her, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's not a matter of running away. And so I'm kind of happy that I'm not happy, but I think this movie did the right thing by not having a happy-go-lucky ending, because
Oh,
it's
absolutely. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not that would have been false to what this movie was. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I guess I'm just happy. Like I think too many people say back in the good old days. I'm like, what were the good old days? Like,
Yeah, what does that entail?
and and I'm gonna be honest though. Like, well, I don't know why I would lie, but I think you go to any time frame in this planet, future, whatever, it's all gonna be a pain in the ass.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but there's also gonna be positives. But you
Mm-hmm.
can't just look at something and be like, those were the days. I'm like, well, no, they weren't the days. You're probably
Maybe in
looking
the
at,
days for you,
yeah,
but they could have been the worst of times for someone else.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was like as soon as what was the big turning point when the faceless dude started showing up? Like what a visual, just to like get you like again where you're in this like happy, what's going on? Something's bad, and all of a sudden ghosts, faceless guys. Like it's such a good visual that just like breaks apart everything that you thought you knew about the movie going into it. And it just kept going and kept going, and they kept showing up not just in the room that she was trying to escape, but everywhere around her. It was again almost like she was trapped, kind of like how Sandy felt like she was trapped in the situation too.
Yeah, it's and I just like this. I like the idea that Edgar Wright had to exercise this movie from his mind. So he had this an idea in his mind for a long time, and he went out and got rid of it. And I can
Mm-hmm.
relate when I do my data pieces; they're not nearly as big. I'll never get the numbers, but even if they tank, I just got to get them out of my brain.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm serious. I have to get them out. They have to go. So I think,
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm happy that he let this idea go. And just by the sheer what the concept of is it like and what it covers, I knew it probably wouldn't be the biggest film to be released because it is quite challenging and it's not as
Hmm.
happy go lucky as the other ones. But I don't know, having been in the film industry, having worked in the music industry for a while, and like even like food events, like it's kind of nice sometimes to like, oh, okay, here. So I teach film studies, and a lot of times you watch these movies, right? Where, oh,
Mm.
this was the golden age of cinema, or George Clooney comes up on the Oscar stage and like we're the last bastions of this and that, and like we're the best, and like no, it's all BS. Like it's a business, it's money,
Hmm.
and there's people who prey on others. I mean, you have the casting couches, you have the contracts, you have just just insane things that happen through the day. So uh, that's why I don't like looking at Hollywood the way Nicole Kidman looks at Hollywood in movies. Like we're all dreaming at the same time. For me, I just love the creativity of cinema. I love how it evolves. I
Hmm.
love the cameras. I love the lenses. I love the switch to digital. I love film. I love how Technicolor happened. I love how sound changed everything. But I also look at it as a business. And then it became very white male run and money ruled the day. And so as much as you want to look at Hollywood as this dream factory, there's a lot more nightmares in it
Oh yeah.
than dreams. And so it's fine to idealize Hollywood, right? And it's fine to look back at the 60s and be like, there was a lot of crazy things and good things that happened in the 60s and bad things. But I guess what I'm saying is just, yeah, never look at something like that was the bet. Those were the days. Like, no, they weren't. But you look at them nostalgically, and that's why. And I don't think many movies have tackled that. And I'm glad this one did.
Oh man, you got really deep into something now. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Going back into like you how you love film and things changing and going through. I really enjoy the fact, like I read how they changed the lenses up to shoot the flashback scenes, and they changed something else just to make that visual thing. And it's something that arguably is pretty small, but makes a huge difference overall. And one thing that I absolutely love in any movie with how much certain ones rely on CGI or all these things going through to make this like grand spectacle. The movies that slow down and kind of almost backtrack to more practical effects, I friggin' adore. The whole dance scene with Sandy and Jack that Eloiuse kept coming in and out of. That was, I think, every switch but two were practical, where it was choreographed with not only the actors and the background actors but the camera to make sure that they go in and out seamlessly to make those transitions. And I know there's a I don't know if it's in the extras on the DVD. I assume it would be, but there is a video out there that shows like a far shot of them just going through that whole choreographed dance scene and showing like when Anya Taylor-Joy and when Thomasin McKenzie go in and out, and it is awesome to watch. I watched it over and over and over again. But same thing with like practical suits. Like I always bring up Underworld, where the Lycans were all practical makeup and suits. You don't see that as often. People go to that CGI thing. So when there are things like the mirror tricks and all the other things to make these effects happen, I love it because it's something that kind of goes back to something simple yet so freaking effective.
Well, I mean, I think that's what the best directors do. Let's look at, I don't care. I'm T1, right? Jurassic Park. Then let's go to Barbie. Let's go to
Mm-hmm.
Oppenheimer. Let's go to The Dark Knight. Let's look at Mad Max Fury Road, Last
Mm-hmm.
Night in Soho, Baby Driver. There's actually a lot of VFX in these movies, but
Mm-hmm.
they do everything practically, and then the visual effects aid work around it. So,
Yeah, just
Barbie,
give it a little buff.
yeah,
Give it a
like
little buff.
Barbie's gigantic sets were built, and there was a lot of VFX, but they built the sets, they built the cars. And when you can have that, like Edgar Wright was talking about that in the commentary with the staircase, like they built the staircase, they hung a chandelier. He wants his actors to be in it, and he wants it to be practical. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he put the actors of Scott Pilgrim in like a long boot camp to learn how to fight. So he wants his actors to be ready and to be prepared and to be able to perform. And I think that's I think that's what the greats do. I mean, look at Dune. Denis Villeneuve built gigantic sets. They went
Mm-hmm.
out to the desert to shoot their scenes as opposed to like a lot of green screen. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it takes more time, and it's a beast. But I think that's something that Edgar Wright really stresses. But I also love about him is I think I would be a filmmaker like him, because when so I've listened to all of his commentaries. There's a billion of them, and it literally there's a billion. I'm not even exaggerating, Nathan. But you learn that what he does is he has an extensive rehearsal period, and in that rehearsal period, the actors can be like, "Hey, what about this line? What about that line? What about this? What about that?" They can pitch in as much as they want, and then everything, if anything changes, it changes right then and there. But during the shooting process, he's like, "Hey, we rehearsed this. We're moving. We're shooting. We're going to get a lot of coverage. These are going to be crazy days, so I'm not going to deal with, this dialogue would be better then." So he gets
Hmm.
everything figured out in rehearsals. He listens to the input of his actors, and then they go shoot. But once they start shooting, they're not going to sit there and question the script. So he can move. And that's why he can do what he does with the budget he has and the days he has, is because it's all shooting. It's just
Hmm.
moving. And I like that about him. I think actors like working with him. He wants to make a good movie for audiences, and I adore that about him. So yeah, I mean, this is the same thing. We talked about the dances, the mirrors, the lighting. It's gnarly. And Chung Hoon Chung is one of my favorite cinematographers. The dude shot Old Boy. He shot Lady Vengeance. He shot Thirst, which I think is one of the greatest looking horror films ever. He shot Stoker. He shot Me and Earl and Dying Girl, which I love. Then he went to Handmaiden. He shot It. Like, it looks great. Hotel Artemis, he shot. That looks great. And then he did Last Night in Soho, which I really admire. He shot Uncharted and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and those look horrifyingly bad, but I'm not going to blame him for that.
You can't, shit gold every single time.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
you have to lay out a turd every so often to kind of even it out.
I don't think it was his fault though. I think when he works with excellent filmmakers, he creates art.
Hmm.
And yeah, but yeah, I mean, dude shot Handmaiden. Like, the guy's an incredible cinematographer, and he he had to use every trick in the book here, but he does it, and I love it.
Let me ask you this, because this was I know when Edgar Wright first started looking into it, casting and everything. Like I saw something. He's like he saw what was it, The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy. He's like, I want her, and he knew like from the very beginning, like talked to her, met her, pitched it to her, but she was initially supposed to be Ellie. That would have been such a different movie if you had her and Thomasin McKenzie switched, not just for I mean, I think Anya Taylor Joy. I love her. I absolutely adore her. Anything she is in, I will watch. Everything that I've watched of hers, I loved. Whether it was The Witch, whether it was The Northman, whether it was Last Night in Soho. I know New Mutants gets a bad rap, but I love her in that. Split. I mean, you name it, I'll watch it, and I will likely love it. I hope she does everything. But she like having such she would have been so good at being that timid character for Ellie, but something about Thomasin McKenzie, just her mannerisms and everything and her look just fit so incredibly well. And then to like, Anya Taylor Joy being the seductress and like even all that going into it was I don't know, it just would have been such a different movie having those roles switched. Do you think it would have had as much of a, I guess, gravitas or as much weight if it was switched up
Well, I think
with the people that were helming it?
there's more of a vulnerability, I would say, to Thomason than there
Yeah.
is Anya. I mean, Anya's been great in the shows that she's been in, but I don't know, Queen's Gambit or The Witch or Emma. Like, The Witch doesn't talk much. Emma, she
Hmm.
delivers that dialogue. She's really good in Emma. Queen's Gambit, totally different character. Northman, kind of a different character. Menu, she's kind of like the broken character. Split, she's kind of plays the
Hmm.
same type of character. So she can find that vulnerability and she can be hurt, but there's this sort of, I don't know, with Thomason, you're like, watch out, kid. You're
Yeah.
you feel like she's an 18-year-old who just moved to London and is excited for the world and
It's
immediately
almost
gets
like
crushed.
that porcelain doll, like, oh, watch out, you can't
Yeah.
let anything, oh, don't chip her, don't,
And immediately
but
gets broken. And also Anya Taylor-Joy, I think, has the look of, I mean, for lack of a better term, the stereotypical, like, walks into a room, commands the room, and
yeah.
gets targeted. And so I think the casting was good. I think Thomason plays younger. She is
Hmm.
younger. She was 18 when she shot this. So, I think Anya would have been great, but I think, I don't know. I like Thomason in this. Like, she actually, what I like? I like when characters play characters that are their age. And so,
Yeah, how many times do you see the high schooler like, oh, this is my senior year, and they're like 37?
yeah, I hate it. And so, listen, I like that she was 18 and she did this because you can see that on screen. So
Mhm.
that definitely worked better for me in regard. And like, she's really good at freaking out Thomasin in this one.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I can't think if Anya does a great freak out, but I think Thomasin just loses it. And
there are multiple times where, yeah, she just looks absolutely terrified, whether it's when she's in her room with John or she's in the library and almost stabs Jocasta, which, dear God, why couldn't she have just gotten a couple inches closer to
yeah,
that bitch? Oh my God, that would have been so satisfying.
yeah. Okay, can we talk about her? The
Let's
kind of
do.
roommate who is also in the Dead Parent Club, which
Oh
is
God.
just uh
But my pain is worse than your pain
oh
type of
gosh.
situation. That, oh God.
Yeah, and like
Is
interesting. I would
she
never
ever
do that.
likable? I don't think there's ever one moment where you're like, well, she's redeeming in this quality. It's just like she walks in and like everything she says, just like, oh, bitch.
Yeah, and like that's a strong word, but also that's the character. Like I think if
She
that
earns it.
yeah,
She earned that title.
there's nothing ever good about her. And you know, sometimes I wonder if Edgar Wright and the writers, so they made sure to have what John in this movie because they
Mhm.
wanted to have the writers, they said they wanted to have at least one good dude in this
And they
movie.
picked the
Yeah,
best freaking
yeah.
character. Like every single time he's on screen, you're just like, oh, he's just trying to help.
And it's
Oh,
just
look at this sweet baby.
give him a Coke, give him an apple. Like he's
Give
just
me,
a nice
yeah.
kid. He's a good kid, right?
Yeah,
And she's a
absolutely.
good kid. And also, so I think maybe that they're like, okay, we need one good dude, maybe we need one horrifyingly bad female character in this.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
but also, I mean, dude, you go to college and there are the assholes. Like you
Oh
go to,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
if you go to like a prestigious art academy, there's gonna be, and also too, they both of the writers, they came from sort of middle class country backgrounds, and so when they move to bigger cities, you meet those city kids who come from money, and that's a different
That
world.
have the
Yeah,
egos and the word is
yeah,
escaping me. I hate it when that happens.
yeah. Just the egos, they have the
Privilege. Yeah,
privilege,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
so it feels right. But yeah, the one thing about this movie is whenever she's on screen, you're like, ugh. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but also we don't need to learn that she has a terrible mom and that's the way she acts how she acts because she's not the main character.
Yeah, we don't
But
need the backstory. You're this role. You're gonna play it. We don't need anything else. One thing that I thought was interesting, I don't know if you saw this or if it was in the commentary, they slightly changed the ending
mhm,
when Ellie was like having her big thing and she goes back and there are the two girls that are like, oh my God, so brave, which I don't think they're altogether, horrible people or even nice people. I think they just kind of go with the flock, kind of like it's almost the Mean Girls
yeah, that's what people do.
mindset. And initially they were gonna have Ellie go back and hug Jocasta, like, oh my God, we're friends now. And that rubbed test audiences way wrong. So they changed it and didn't have that embrace. And I was like, good. Like there's nothing redeeming that we saw in that character in the entirety of the movie in any instances that would have been like, oh, she's kind of a good person. I'd believe that. So you kind of want to see Ellie succeed and not necessarily Jocasta fail, but not get the recognition from teachers or even the main character of like, oh yeah, all is forgiven. It's just kind of I'm doing what I was supposed to do here and I'm showing my talent and you're kind of showing your colors and drifting into the crowd. So I'm very glad when I saw that. I was like, initially I was like, why would they even consider making them embrace? And I was like, I'm very glad they didn't do that.
No, because it's not earned, and that would have
Yeah,
left
not at
me
all.
annoyed in the theater. So they cut her out, and then they also did reshoots where they added more John. So they added more John because he didn't get enough to do in the beginning. Oh, so it's really funny. And during the commentary, Edgar Wright is talking about it, and he's like, "There's reshoots and additional photography." He's like, "People do reshoots when they need to reshoot something when it's not good. We did additional photography where we didn't reshoot anything. We just added additional photography." Does that make sense? So he's like, "I
Nothing
don't
we
want."
did sucked. We swear. We
Yeah,
promise. We
yeah.
just needed to. We needed to. Elevate certain things and embellish. And yeah.
And I love that Jocasta that's the name because Edgar Wright's mom said that if he was a girl, she would have named him
I did
Jocasta.
see that.
Yeah.
I did see
And so he
that.
mentions that. And And it's and he I like that he talks about a few things, and I guess they had to add the scene where Eloise pukes because everyone's like, she just drank poison tea, like why would now she's fine, so they did the yakking scene, and
She
they
only drank a little bit. You can
exactly.
forgive that. Come on now.
And then the garlic bit they made sure to add, so then it's like, oh, this house smells like garlic, so you can't smell the dead rotting corpses that are melting the plywood behind
Well,
my
Well,
house.
Mrs. Collins said something in the middle of like that first thing when she was there. She's like, "Oh, this is that, but in the summer you got to let those windows or like open up the
Oh
drains because it
yeah.
it gets to like stink really bad." And I was like, I didn't see that beforehand because again, people, if you haven't watched it yet, pause it right now. Three, two, one. It's because of the bodies that are the floorboards and the walls. And I
Oh
was like,
man.
oh, that's a cool little thing. And yeah, just the little bits that they threw in there to be like, oh, this is, here's a hint, here's a hint. I don't think I caught anything my first viewing of it to be like, oh, maybe this is where it's going. But going through again, you're like, oh, there's the thing. Oh, there's the thing. And I know that there was something just at the tail end that people had asked Edgar Wright about. It was when Ellie's in there with Mrs. Collins, and she's like, oh, you got a couple pieces of mail. And she goes through and it shows her going through the mail and it shows the name Alexandra Collins on there to kind of give that away. But it's just kind of a throwaway thing. They don't focus on it too much until the actual twist and the revelation happens. And then Ellie looks down and sees the name. And I think someone was just like, why would you put the twist before the twist, like so close there, like people would get it? And he had referenced movies of just like, oh, well, as you're going through, I put it in there for like the more eagle-eyed viewers that they start to get super excited about like, oh, this is gonna happen now. I know it's coming, and like really amping it up and getting them like jazzed for it to happen and kind of doing that. So it's not, it wasn't to throw anything away necessarily, but if you're making a movie, I'm sure you want people to pay attention and look out for those things. We're in the era of the MCU. You're always looking out for the Easter eggs and what can I find and what can I catch for anyone else. So I thought that was an interesting move because the next viewing when I went through it, I was like, oh, how did I not see that? But I was like, but wait, was that the time that I saw, or oh no, it came up then. Okay, so I was just like, oh, that was interesting, but it didn't like take away. Like I was like, oh, what a dummy! Why did he do that? It ruined it. I was like, oh, if I had caught that the first time, I was like, was that just did I see? Because it cut away so quick, and I was like, oh, I saw it. I got the thing.
Well, then it would have
But
changed your experience, and it would have been bad though, because remember what Hitchcock says,
not at
like
all.
you could put a bomb under a table, and then people can sit there, and you're nervous because you know a bomb's under the table, but the characters
Mm-hmm.
don't, or you can just
it,
have an
it adds
explosion.
that yeah
So
it adds that on there. I mean, we were I know before we started talking we were talking about the Saw movies, and that's even part of that. Like if you're going through and you as a viewer can be like, oh, it's this person, or I know this is coming, and it's just still going through and grinding away, like it keeps that kind of anticipation or that anxiety going, like are they going to figure out how's it's going to go? And yeah, it adds to the experience.
and yeah, so I mean that rewards the eagle eye viewers. I don't think it wrecks it, because
Yeah.
then you're looking around going, I know things people don't, and
Oh, dude,
I
one of
don't.
one of my favorite things, one of my favorite movie experiences for going into something that I knew was going to happen before it happened, and it wasn't quite an eagle eye thing. It was just because I'm a huge comic nerd. Was going into the Winter Soldier, the second Captain America movie, knowing that. But people, if you haven't watched Winter Soldier, pause it right now. If knowing that Bucky was the Winter Soldier, I was just like, when the fight was happening, I was like looking around the theater, just like rubbing, rubbing the armrest of my seat, just waiting for that reaction. And yeah, it's that it's not a pride thing, but like if you know something is coming and you're the only one in a theater of what 200 people that don't know this thing is coming, you're just waiting to see that reaction, and it doesn't disappoint. So I mean, that could have been something where he was just like, if it happens 20 seconds before, you have like five people in the audience looking around really quick, seeing if anyone else, saw that thing. But it's, yeah, it adds that element, which can be really fun. I agree. I don't think it took anything away.
And I do remember watching this. Megan looks over at me and was like, she already knew that Diana Rigg was the older Anya Taylor-Joy, and she just said that
Mm-hmm.
to me. I went, what? And then, like, I was like, how'd you know that? She's like, oh, I just knew it. But it still didn't wreck anything for me, because listen, Diana Rigg is incredible in that scene
Mm-hmm.
where she gives the tea to to Eloise, and it's and just watching her, she got the character. And also too, it's a tragic hero. I mean, not a hero, tragic villain. I mean, she still tries to kill Eloiuse. She stabs the nicest guy on the planet right in the gut, John.
Yeah.
And she did kill all these men, and she's going to kill again. But it's interesting that they kind of built up her backstory and then had her become this killer. But I also didn't like that they made her this folk hero almost. Like, hey, she's actually good, even though she slaughtered all these people. And you know what? They were horrifyingly bad human beings, but they didn't. She still tried to kill Eloiuse. She still tried to kill John. So once
Yeah.
again, like there's a lot of easy ways you could have backed out of that, but they chose not to. And you know, Eloiuse still had the she saw where she was coming from. She saw her entire backstory, so she knew where Diana Rigg was coming from, or Miss Collins. But it she knew where she was coming from,
And
and
still tried to save her and sympathize with her. Like, I know what you did was horrible. I know how you felt like you had to do that. You know, maybe some of them deserved it, but like you still deserve. And I think she even said at the end, like, live, you still deserve to live. And it is that interesting thing where like you come to realize like, oh, this is a serial killer. I don't even think they said how many men she killed. Like when Ellie was going through the newspaper articles, there were a bunch on there, but I don't know, maybe we can go back and count all the arms that came out of the floorboards and the
yeah,
the bed and things like that. It's like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's one of those things like, okay, Jeffrey Dahmer, serial killer, 8 people. Like if he had motivation to kill those people, like if they wronged him in some way, does that still make, like, is he a nicer dude
exactly. No,
because of that?
no,
Or the Dexter conundrum. I only kill bad people. Well, you're still murdering people.
it's there.
It's
and
there.
and you
Yeah.
know, she swears throughout the movie. Like they kind of said, like, you know, Thomasin's like a oh shucks type person in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then Anya starts dropping f-bombs. And I mean, getting out of that house would be great too, man. There's so many bodies in the walls. But no, I kind of like that I just think it's interesting. They showed how she became what she became.
Mm-hmm.
You do feel to a certain extent for the woman, but they weren't like, she's cool now. Like she's fine. Like one talk from Thomason's gonna make her good.
Yeah.
So I like that about her. And I just think Diana Rigg is incredible in the role.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, she's like, can I call you Eloise? Like she says a really
The
cheeky
whole
line.
end monologue is just so matter of fact and like even just so sweet the way she's saying everything. It's like, I killed these people and it was so wonderful and they deserved it, and didn't they? And you saw, and it was just
Wait, did you make her
delivered.
like a Southern belle right there?
Apparently so. That's what I do with that one. Complete opposite from Soho, London. Well, it's probably, I attribute it
Is
to
it South
my
London?
at South London. There you go. Exactly. There we go. If it was no, I attribute it to my theater coach and professor Maureen McIntyre, who was 1,000% a Southern belle, and everything was, oh honey, and I think it just kind of ingrained in my psyche and seeps in every once in a while when I talk about female characters. Sorry, Ms. Mac, don't mean to disappoint there.
And you know what's interesting? The same thing that allowed Matt Smith to entrap her is the same thing that made her such a successful serial killer, is because they just those men never expected that.
Yeah.
The men that she dragged back to her house, they, oh, this girl wants to bring me back. Oh, hey, another go. Like they
Yeah,
just
again,
never.
it's a
So
Tuesday evening. You're gonna go, bang a prostitute.
she was
What could
never
happen to
caught.
me? I'm a man.
Yeah, exactly. She's never
Yeah,
caught. And
yeah,
it's interesting that the same thing that sort of made her a target also made her so successful at
yeah.
murdering human beings and stuffing them in her walls. And she's pretty good at painting, I would assume, and drywall. So I mean,
Yeah, the stain and shellac used in there, just
listen, if you don't have enough money to
strong
become a
arms for
carpenter,
driving those nails in.
just put people in your walls and learn
You
the
know,
trade there.
there you go. It'll resell. The housing market's up. It's a fixer upper.
Oh
They'll
my
just flip
gosh.
it. I want to say one thing we haven't touched upon at all in this, and I think it's horrible of us. We didn't talk about Terrence Stamp at all. Number one, how good of
Skeezy.
an actor did they find to be an older Matt Smith? Like,
Yeah.
if you look at them, like put them together, you'd be like, I totally see that. Like 1,000%, no question in your mind. And that was such a great casting choice because like they go into that first dream sequence and here's Jack and everything, as soon as you see Terrence Stamp, you're like, that's him. There's no doubt in my mind that's him. That's the old Matt Smith a-hole. And so when it comes up that it's not him, and there was that quick scene with, like, I think it was gentleman number 5, in the credits where he gave Sandy that out. It's one of those, so it happens so quickly it's almost forgettable. Then when it comes up there, I was like, oh, it is this guy, and it flashes back. You're like, oh crap! Like again, that was such a good moment for that reveal. But man, yeah, Terrence Stamp was just a shoe in for an old Matt Smith. Holy crap!
Wait, so when you saw Sam Claflin and his smile and the way he looked, I was like, oh, okay, that's Terrence Stamp. Did you still think that was a Matt Smith?
Didn't hit me at all. The
Oh
very
wow.
first time, yeah, the very first time I watched it, I was just like, oh, here's this guy. And at first she was like, oh, you must be a cop and going through all this stuff. I didn't believe him that first time because everything was like so crappy happening and it just kept like building on that heap of turds. I was just like, oh, what's this guy gonna do? Like everything else is so bad. Is he gonna again play on this dream or this hope for escape and all of a sudden just like take her legs out? I was like, there's no way anything as good is coming from this guy. So when it came back, I was just like, oh, holy crap, that was right. I like completely wrote him off in that one scene because he didn't show up again. So I didn't expect
Mhm.
anything to come of him.
Got it. So I love that you can watch these movies and just see different things when you're watching it and
Mm-hmm.
interpret it differently. And what else haven't we even touched on in this movie? We've covered the horrifyingly bad roommate, Terrence Stamp, and
We talked about John, the nicest guy ever.
they
Um,
researched a lot of Vice language from the 1960s, and then they researched like pimp talk and like that kind of talk from the
mhm.
times in the 60s, and like yeah, they're pretty close. So the way that he was saying things were quite similar to some of the slang used by like the Vice Squad in the 60s there in Soho,
Oh yeah.
which I thought that was, I mean, of course, that's Edgar Wright and the writers there, like doing as much research as humanly possible.
Hmm.
No, like, and also too, like, I love the decorations in her room. You think about Breakfast at Tiffany's, the poster, but then you think about the horrible, like the wildly bad racism in Breakfast at Tiffany's in that movie, and like the themes of it. And so, but the look is iconic. And so I
Hmm.
think when you think about the 60s, you think about looks. And it
Hmm.
was, listen, it was a stylish time. I was actually going through with my students and I was talking to them about the 60s and how Dr. No really changed cinema. And you could go on location to shoot. You could have a license to kill. You didn't have to, if a guy was out of bullets, you could still shoot him. You could drink all the time. You could, like hook up with women, wear suits. So after Connery did that, you just had this very like iconic stylistic time in Hollywood with Steve McQueen and just people looking great on screen.
Hmm.
So I don't know where I'm going with that. Let's
Well,
see. The,
I'll
the
jump in
glitz
on
and the
that one
glamour of
with
the 60s, I
going into
guess.
yeah
Yeah.
the glamour, the
And like,
everything
oh,
going into
Breakfast
it.
at Tiffany, the dress
There
from
you go.
Breakfast
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
Tiffany's. Yeah, yeah.
I will say, did you look into and I don't know if Edgar Wright in particular has an obsession with Bond, but all of his movies have elements of that. This one in particular, where when it flashes back that first time, you have Thunderball that's up there right away, and they have the things where she orders a Vespa, and they have two, not one but two Bond girls, previous Bond girls that are cast in the movie. It was
Yeah.
Diana Rigg and her name's escaped me right now,
The
but
mom
there
or
was
the
yeah, but
grandmother.
there was so much in there, and even you have like even Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan, former Bonds that are cast in his earlier movies. Like I don't know if he's just like widely out there like, yes, I love everything about Bond and going into it, but that was something when I was looking up little tidbits about the movie, that they had all kinds of little things in there to kind of give reference and a shout out to a lot of things Bond related.
I mean, the 60s were like Bond hit the world hard in the 60s. It really did
Mm,
transform action. It transformed the way people dressed. Like people wanted to be James Bond, which isn't great.
hmm. I mean, they
Um,
still do to an
yeah,
extent.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess people just wanted to have that life. So that was a huge part of the 60s. And I mean, also, I mean, you look at Hot Fuzzy as Timothy Dalton.
Dalton. Hmm.
In World's End, they have Pierce Brosnan.
Hmm.
In Shaun of the Dead, do they have a Bond in that one?
I don't know. I don't think they had a Bond in it. Now I'm thinking like was Bill Nighy in any Bond movies because now I
I'm a
just think of he's
slasher.
in everything.
I love when he comes. I'm a slasher. What? But yeah, I think he just loves Bond. But I mean, it's really hard to separate. I do think it's very hard to separate Bond from the 60s if you're just talking about style or
Yeah.
like super. So if we're just talking about like superficial looks, you can't really separate. Like, yeah, you would just as iconic as the Breakfast at Tiffany's poster. So I think Yeah, you got to have Bond to represent the glitz and glamour of the 60s.
And especially in London too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, but once again, that goes back to the research. I mean, both the writers lived in Soho. They knew Soho. They know how to shoot Soho. So I just said Soho a lot. But you, once again, it's Edgar Wright though. Like the guy thinks things through on a molecular level, and he moves so fast that they can get all that footage. And I know I went in deep earlier about the industry, but I like that, man. Like I tell my students all the time, it's a business, guys. Like this isn't, if you want to get in this industry, you're going to realize fast that money is involved, and there are a lot of
Hmm.
people who aren't great in this industry. I mean, there's entire film industries of like pirating movies. There's entirety like or just recreating movies, but worse, like the Almighty Thor when Thor comes out. Like it's an industry that I don't think should be idealized, but I think it's good to know and understand. And so I don't think he's really shaking the world by saying, "Hey, '60s were kind of crap." I like that they, but you can't solve. I don't like it when people go, the movie doesn't solve any issues, and it's like, how is a movie
it's
supposed to
it's
solve
not, yeah, it's not
misogyny? You
trying
know, like
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I, but people are like, oh well, this movie has this, and I'm like, ugh.
If you're expecting a movie to solve some grandiose, like, oh, I'm gonna watch this movie about Africa and why didn't it solve world hunger, like, that's not its job. Like, the jobs of movies is to entertain people, number one. And yeah, if it highlights certain things that need to be highlighted, then great. If it makes people think a certain way or change their viewpoint or whatever, like, awesome. I'm sure that the writers and the directors maybe hoped that happened here or there. But yeah, if someone's expecting a movie to change a gigantic real world problem, then that's just, come on now.
Yeah,
Come on now.
exactly. Yeah, and
Come
but
on.
people write that though. They're like, they're not gonna. It doesn't figure things out. Like, how's it gonna figure it out? Like, why didn't the Black Eyed Peas song "Where's the Love" make world peace? Like, who knows? But it, I don't know. It's just sort of, it's just
We Are
sort
the
of,
World. I mean, they tried that, what, in the 80s? That didn't work.
yeah. And but listen, like, I think Michael Jackson's like, doesn't matter if you're black or white, or gigantic movies, right? That at least try to add in a broad message that is
Hmm.
quite, if someone like a big movie tries to add in a broad message that hits at least 50,000 people, let's say 50 million people see it and 50,000 people go, huh, that's an interesting point, right?
Hmm.
That's not bad. But there's a movie that came out last year that I really love. It's called Women Talking. Sarah Paula directed it. Polly directed it. But it's such a it covers the issue. Like there's a really great speech about how boys grow up the way they do and watching them become who they become, and these people talking about these issues. And I think it's a great film, but it's such an art house movie, and it didn't really make any money, and it wasn't distributed, and a lot of people who I know it who watched it already feel that way that the movie's talking about. So it's plain, even though it has some beautiful speeches that I would love for people to hear, it's such a niche movie that I feel like it's not going to find the audience that it wants to find. So
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to add a super broad message in a big release film to at least get people going, huh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly. If there's a movie about an abusive relationship or how to get out or what a woman goes through, and it shows just like the grittiness of it, and it has Florence Pugh or like a giant cast or a giant director, and so it's seen a lot more. I mean, they may not, like, make that the big, like, hammer it in point of the movie. It may be an entertaining, something. It may be the next True Lies. I don't know. But if there is, like you said, 50,000 people that see that relationship on screen and see how destructive it is or whatever, and they do any sort of parallels to themselves and be like, oh, this isn't good. I mean, yeah, if I'm sure that there are plenty of filmmakers that go into a movie process hoping that certain things are seen and taken away that can change someone's lives, but that's, not all movies by any means. Again, people that are making movies are trying to entertain people and trying to make money. But for the ones that come into it, this could very well be one of them. How a girl gets trapped in by a guy and can't get out of it, and leads her to, do all this stuff. Maybe that'll resonate with someone.
And just incept an idea in their minds.
Yeah.
Just put that idea in there. And yeah, I listen, I love movies that go out there and and really swing for the fences, but a lot of those just remain art house movies that won't attract the masses. And I would love it if more people watch Colossal with Anne Hathaway, because I think it's a really great look at alcoholism. And also Jason Sudeikis is scary in that movie as the quote unquote nice guy. Like, I wish people would watch that. And I wish
I haven't watched it. I'm gonna watch it now.
I wish a quote unquote nice guy would watch it and be like, oof, oof, like maybe I'm not nice.
What
So
have
it's,
I been doing with my life?
yeah, exactly. And I don't know, but I think, yeah, I think this movie did a good job of, and also too, like the 3 act structure, and it's not quite strong. Like, I know Eloise comes into town, then she starts getting the dreams, and then they turn, but it doesn't feel like a 1, 2, 3 act structure. There are elements of it, but I don't know. I like how they sort of mess with the genre, and I like that it feels somewhat fresh. But I do think that lack of an ABC, there is an ABC structure, but it's not as pronounced, maybe hurt the box office a little bit. But I mean, his biggest hit is Baby Driver, and that's also probably his most commercial film.
Yeah.
I don't think he made this movie expecting it to be a gigantic hit. He couldn't have. And I mean, it was
Well, for me, I remember it being like, oh, Edgar Wright has a new movie coming out. Awesome. And I was already intrigued because Edgar Wright, like it's kind of the same thing with music or comics or whatever you're into. If there's a new project coming out by someone that you enjoy, you're automatically going to be like, oh, I'm going to give that a shot. And then when the trailer came out, just with how it was set up and who was cast in it, I was already like, oh, I'm going to see this movie. And of course, I saw the movie and I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell everyone to see this movie. It's that, going into it, but it may not have been as widely not accessible, but appealing to a whole lot of people. It wasn't a weak movie by any means, but what I really appreciated about it is that any movie that keeps me guessing throughout the whole thing or that changes my mind, like I go back to Training Day, when you think like, oh, Denzel is a good person, no, he's just a really rough, but no, he's kind of like really trying to, I was like, that one made me go back and forth a lot. And I think this one was one that had me kind of do that too, as far as like, who's the bad guy, what's going on, what's with these ghosts, oh, it's got to be this, it's this over here. And then of course with the big real reveal at the end that I didn't see coming. I guess your wife is smarter than me. I thought it was great. So this is one that I definitely recommend to people watch. Not only because it's visually stunning, but it had me like kind of spinning in certain moments, like, what's going on?
And do you know
how is it gonna end up?
Do you know, I don't pick up on a lot of things the first time I watch movies because I don't want to sit there and stare at every detail on the screen. I kind of let movies wash over me. So I did pick up on the Claflin thing. For the most part, I do miss a lot of those because if you're staring at the screen looking for clues, you're not immersed in the world. So, and when you watch an Edgar Wright movie too, it's the sights and sounds are just like the sounds are just as important as the sights. So you want to enjoy the music, you want to enjoy the editing, like you just want to be in it. And so yeah, I don't think I would have picked up on that either. But no, man, I dig it. I'm glad we talked about this.
Yeah, it's a good one. I know it was one that as soon as I watched it, I think I texted you like pretty quickly afterwards, like, did you see this movie yet? It's like, yeah, I really dig it. Is this something you want to do about it? I'd like to talk about it. It was a really good one. And yeah, you're always on board with things, goofy or not, that we come up with. I mean, hello, we did a Royal Rumble of action stars. So yeah, it's always a good one. I think this was kind of one of our milder episodes. It was kind of
Well, you can't riff on this one too much.
not a whole lot. Like, yeah, we'll get people pissed off with us. We don't want to do that at all. But yeah, it was a really good watch. I really enjoyed it. There were twists that happened that I didn't see coming. I thought creepy old Terrence Stamp was a-hole Matt Smith. Didn't see Diane Rigg coming at the end of it. It was just really enjoyable. And the second time and multiple times going afterwards, even just little things like you see the reflections in the giant mirrors and going through. But even that first time that Matt Smith, Jack, was driving Sandy home, you would still see like little glimpses of a reflection of Eloise, like when they passed a street light and you would get a little bit of a flash of a reflection. It was Eloise in there. I was like, oh, that's cool. Just that like little thing that kept you into it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie, and I hope other people get intrigued by maybe listening to this and giving it a try, and telling other people to watch it.
Right. And then, okay, so before we get out here, we're going to do a quick thing. We're going to do the Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy draft. I'll
Oh
let you go
gosh.
first pick.
Oh my God.
They've been in some huge movies that
They
I
have
love.
been, and I want to. So here's the thing with Anya Taylor-Joy. Again, huge comic book nerd. And everyone go read this book too, because I adore it. I think I've talked to Mark about it a couple different times. It's called Something is Killing the Children. It's from Boom Studios. It's a horror franchise. It's wonderful. It's James Tynion and Werther Dell'Edera. I read the first trade of this book, and that was it. I had to have like every single issue. It's one of my favorite series. It got optioned by Netflix, but it's kind of been in production limbo hell for a while. I want Anya Taylor-Joy to play Erica Slaughter, the main character, so insanely bad. If they don't cast her, I'm gonna cry. Anyways, Anya Taylor-Joy, I'm gonna pick Split for my first movie, sir.
All right, I'm gonna do Leave No Trace, Thomasin McKenzie movie, really good with Ben Foster. Like I remember watching it. I'm like, who is this? So I watched that before Jojo Rabbit, and I watched that before I even knew who she, like, not who she was, but like,
Yeah,
I saw it and I went, whoa, like she's got it. Like this is a good actor right here. So
I
yeah,
was
Leave No
looking through
Trace.
because I've seen a couple of her movies since this one, and I was just like, I know I've seen her in a couple things. What is it? And I want to go back and watch a bunch of her stuff because yeah, she just has a presence on screen that holds you to it. I am you said it already, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna put into Jojo Rabbit for Miss
Oh
Thomasin
yeah,
McKenzie.
she's so good. I'm gonna take Thoroughbreds by with Anya Taylor-Joy. I love that movie. So
Okay, let's see here. Oh, what else? What else? I got to do the menu.
oh
The
yeah,
menu
shoot,
was amazing. My
dang
God,
it.
Elise and I watched that and we just loved it. I think she called her brother immediately. She's like, "Put this movie on. It's right up your alley." That was I think some that movie gets a bad rap from some people. I don't give a crap. I loved it thoroughly. It was so good. Oh, it
And
was so good.
I think we need to respect M. Night Shyamalan because he put Thomasin in Old and he put Anya in Split. Like
Mm-hmm.
he knows what's up.
He
Okay,
does. He does.
okay. So you have Split, Jojo Rabbit, and the you have wait. What do you have? You have Split, Jojo Rabbit, and the menu. I'm gonna take Leave No Trace, Thoroughbreds. I'm gonna add The Witch. You got to. You got to have that
You
in
have
there.
to.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. God, I feel bad leaving Thomasin McKenzie out because I just haven't seen as many friggin' movies with her. I have to go comic book route and say New Mutants. Again, another movie
Oh,
that gets a really bad rap. I really liked it because it was something so different from the other X movies, especially the ones that were coming out right then. We had like X-Men Dark Phoenix, which we're not going to talk about that movie at all. Just we'll
oh,
just
so.
blaze past that.
Mm.
And I can't remember the other one that came out right around that time, but it was just like for me it was a breath of fresh air because number one, it was new characters. Number two, it had the horror element about it, and I thought everyone did great. Like everyone rags on some of the actors. I thought it was awesome.
It,
Enjoy new mutant movies, people. Come on now.
yeah, I remember. I tried to watch that one, but I like the idea of it. If that makes sense. But I
That's okay. You don't have to you don't have to appease me
yeah,
by trying to find something you liked about it.
yeah. I like that it was short. But okay, I'll do the Northman then. I
Oh,
like her a
I was
lot.
just looking at that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it. All right, so yeah, the Northman.
Okay,
Which are you gonna
cool.
do Soho or what?
You know what? I think I'll leave it off. I love Soho, but I'm gonna throw something else on here
Super Mario Brothers movie.
you know what? I think I'm gonna have to. My kids adore it, and it's so good. I have to put Super Mario on there.
She has great voice work in that.
She does. No, she does great as Princess Peach.
All right, so I'm gonna add. I'm just gonna do old. My buddy Aaron Newworth, he calls it Magic Beach, but I
I mean, he's not wrong.
yeah. So I'm gonna
Not at
do
all.
old. I'm gonna do old. So I have Leave No Trace, Thoroughbreds, The Witch, Northman, Old, and you have Split, Jojo Rabbit, The Menu, New Mutants, and the Super Mario Brothers movie. Well, I'm gonna get
Man,
you out of
these
here,
would
man.
both be really fun, just like movie marathons to do.
Man, if I had to watch Leave No Trace, Thoroughbreds, and The Witch back to back to back, so I would
You
if I would toss in Northman and Old in between them. I would do Leave No Trace,
absolutely, yeah, you got to break it up.
The Northman, Thoroughbreds, Old. Well, no, I wouldn't want to leave on The Witch. So I would do. Oh man, The Witch is tough. I would do Leave No Trace, The Northman, Thoroughbreds, The Witch, and then Old. There it is.
There you go. I think I would have to start with Super Mario Brothers just to make everyone feel good, and then immediately go into Split, just to really,
Yeah.
really make that transition.
Would you send them home on the menu so they could have something to
I
chew
would send
on?
them home with the menu. Absolutely, that's exactly what I was thinking. So that everyone could
Cheeseburger.
want a cheeseburger at the end. Exactly. American cheese, the best cheese to use.
Oh man. Well,
I'm
dude,
gonna go watch that movie now.
this was awesome, man. Oh, I love that film. Oh my gosh. Thank you for joining me, dude. This was awesome.
Absolutely. No, I'm always happy to get the call and plan a date, and I get excited to watch the same movie over and over again so we can chat about it and just see what comes out. I'm very happy we didn't riff too much and go way off the beaten path on this one, because we've done it plenty of times before. I'll remind you about Predators and the John
yeah.
Lovett Scout. I'm very glad we didn't go that route with this movie.
Listen, man, I know I have tact, and and also, but I really wanted to tackle the nostalgia. I really wanted to tackle the industry. Like that's, I've seen it. I mean, in any industry, it's the same thing. And so I'm telling you, man, I always tell my students, like, back in the day wasn't crap, but I mean, don't it's not the
don't
best
idolize
either.
it. Don't exactly. Don't make it this fantasy that was the best thing ever and all, hugs and rainbows. It was
like, I think Phantom Menace was huge for me because with nostalgia, because I watched grown men just like lose their shit over it. And so I was 17, right, working in a theater, and people are just losing their shit. And just I hate it. It wrecked what I loved. I'm like, bro, what you love came out 16 years ago when you were a child. Like, George Lucas makes these for kids, dude. Like,
or guess what? Go rewatch the thing you love and be happy with it.
Yeah.
Don't, poop in your pants and then fling it at this new thing that other people may enjoy.
It wasn't what I wanted. And you're like, ugh. And we were at Comic-Cons for years. And just hearing people be like, it's not my Batman. I'm like, there's 50,000 Batman. There's been 300 Batman runs. Which
you know how many? Yeah, exactly. You know how many cons that I've worked with Greg. I've nearly seen probably about 4 or 5 actual fist fights break out in front of his table because people rag on Batman not being the best, or Batman would get beaten by this person, or Batman's shit. I'm just like, you guys have got to find something better to do like this. Like, it's okay to be a fan, but like, don't get into a fist fight over a fictional character. Come on.
I think comics were just so much more important to people before they were popular. And so now that they're popular, people still have that thing of like, comic book readers are dorks, and they still hold on to that, but they need to not stay there. They need to keep moving forward and not.
My favorite thing now with comics is when people complain about them being woke or all this stuff. I remember when there were stories on the news of people be like, we need to boycott Marvel Comics because they killed Captain America, blah blah blah. I'm just like, you guys have no idea. Like, he'll be dead for 6 months. He'll be back. But also, people are like, these comics are woke. They're trying to do all this stuff. I want to be like, go look at what the X-Men was based on. Like, they were always this. Just shut up. Don't use this terminology just because you don't agree with one thing they're doing. Like, get bent.
Get out.
Now we're good. There we go. Now we went off the beaten trail. Yay!
Hey,
now
we did it at the end. We did it at the end.
All right. That'll get cut. It's fine.
So no, I leave everything in. All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Nathan Lahay. Oh, that was good.
Hoffmeyer.
Oh, you'll get caught up in the. This is Movie Something Flicks. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hey, it's Mark here. I just want to read these promotions out here for you to learn more about Mean Girls and Air Force One Down. So bring home the all-new movie Mean Girls. Buy on digital now. New student Katie Heron is welcomed into the top of the social food chain by a group of popular girls ruled by Queen Bee Regina George in this new twist on the modern classic, Mean Girls. Buy it on digital today and you'll get over 30 minutes of fetch bonus features. Available at participating retailers, rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures. And this is for Air Force One Down. On her first assignment aboard Air Force One, a rookie Secret Service agent faces the ultimate test when terrorists hijack the plane and target the president, leading her into a relentless battle that could change the course of history. Air Force One Down is the latest heart-pounding action thriller to buy on digital now. Rated R from Republic Pictures. You can get that on Vudu.